How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Ambitiously Broke, the most relatable podcast on the air to date. My name is Jacob Steagall.
And I'm Sam Mobley.
Today we have actually one of our really good friends. Sam and I have worked with him, plenty of times at this point, to the point where we're almost sick of it. No, I'm just kidding. But Scott and I actually went to college together. We met or introduced him to Sam through some other projects with a few friends of ours. But Scott Stevens is our guest on our show today. Scott, how are you?
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm excited to be here. Excited to talk about some stuff. Heard you guys doing some good stuff over here in the podcast.
Yeah, man, we're glad to have you out. Talk about some film stuff today, some projects we've worked on, and just what we've been up to.
Yeah, so we, for our listeners and people like that, I met Scott about 6 years ago or 7 years ago now.
Yeah.
My sophomore year of college, which was my my third year, junior year of college when I transferred to Cal Lutheran.
Yeah.
I met Scott. He was another student there and actually a departmental assistant at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So he worked with the school and, was teaching film and things like that.
Kind of like helping run the department. Yeah, and then I think I was a junior. I think when you came in, you were a sophomore. I think I was a year older than you.
Something like that.
Kind of showing you the ropes.
Yeah. I think, I actually ended up learning a lot from Scott at the time. It was one of those things. I came in already working in production, like we've kind of talked about. I worked through college and high school and things like that already in production, but learned a lot about the freelance world because I was doing more like projects with Sam and Taylor, our other boss, definitely. And things like that. So I never really had to chase jobs. And then, here comes Scott, this kid who's like absolutely ambitious as hell and
broke. Yeah.
Very broke, but
who's not though.
Yeah, exactly. We all are at this point. We'll talk about that a little later because
well, that was a big thing too. I mean, I think like you said, Taylor and all them, like a lot of the freelance stuff that you introduced me to, a lot of that stuff too was kind of just doing a lot of freelance stuff and going out and getting more experiences, touching cameras and getting on set and doing things. I had a lot of experience with like post stuff, editing and things like that.
For people out there, Scott is a badass, phenomenal editor. So if you need any help, I think he may be a little locked down with a new position, but he might still freelance on the side. So we'll plug the Instagram a little later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, in all reality, Scott is a go-getter. He works his ass off, and he's super talented. I learned a lot about editing from Scott, and kind of just really got to explore a lot of ideas. We made a few passion projects and short films that turned out to be really shitty, but
not that shitty, dude.
I don't think they were bad. I think they just didn't get the legs that they needed to really go anywhere.
We did some pretty cool ones. I mean, like the spec car one we did was pretty cool.
That was really cool. I think Sam was on that also,
Sam,
right?
Yeah.
Which one was that?
The Aston Martin thing?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
With the parking garage.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, so a little, I guess we can go back to kind of like the first project that we brought Scott in on. That was like our big project. We were shooting a music video for one of our clients who happened to be Jamie Foxx at the time. And we
kind of a last minute shoot.
It was super last minute. It was for a song called Like a Drum. And if you've ever heard the song, I don't even know how to describe it. It was
It's definitely worth a listen.
Yeah, you should check it out.
It's a great song.
It's a really good song. It was the subject matter was a little interesting. Yeah. So we were shooting. We got notice, I guess, like 10 a.m. that we were going to be shooting a video in Beverly Hills at like 5 p.m.
Yeah, I called these guys and I'm like, all right, you guys want to work in an hour?
Yeah.
I'm like, we got to go pick up all the gear in LA right now first.
Sam gave us this crazy call, basically said that we were shooting and we really didn't know what we were shooting. All we knew, it was for Jamie Foxx. It was a music video and we had a ton of equipment. So we needed 3 people to basically man all this stuff.
Yep.
And so here comes myself and Scott, because I was already working with Sam a lot at the time and Taylor, our other buddy. And
they
Scott,
just drag me into it. They just say,
hey,
you want to go do a shoot for Jamie Foxx in Beverly Hills? And I'm like, yeah, dude, let's go.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Show up and there's a truckload full of equipment in the back.
Just
no idea what
cases.
No idea what I'm like agreeing to.
Yeah. So,
that was only like one of 3 cars or something with gear in it too.
Yeah, we had so many cars. We were absolutely stacked full of equipment. But the thing was, we got to the SLS hotel in Beverly Hills. Why I remember all this is really scary.
I remember, it was cool.
I remember.
It wasn't
super cool hotel.
It was
I had
a
a good
long
time.
day. It was a cool thing though.
I thought it was
weekend.
fun.
I think we saw the weekend.
We pulled in.
Oh, we did. That's
the
right.
weekend was there. The musician, the weekend. We weren't shooting on the weekend. It was the weekend. And he had we were shooting in his room. I don't know if you guys knew that.
I didn't know that.
I
He
didn't
was
know that.
leaving the hotel to go to an award show. I think it was like the VMAs or something, and we got his room to shoot in, from what I heard. That was
funny.
one of the Bell guys told me. So we get to this place. We go up to this gorgeous room. It's like a presidential suite. It's like 3 bedrooms. Really,
Super
really
nice.
pretty.
But not big enough for all the people we
Not
had.
big enough for 15 people.
And the equipment.
And
the
equipment. And actors and the whole 9 yards. But the second we got in there, blinds closed. Like, it was pitch black because we were making a movie at the time.
Right.
We had a track dolly set up. We had 3 girls that were doing God knows what. Like, they were in bikinis that were supposed to be dancing to the song, while basically the whole premise of the video was that it was a chance encounter that Jamie met these girls at the hotel, and they also were at the club, and it was this whole thing. It took us 30 hours locked in that hotel room.
Yeah, it was. I think it was the next morning.
It was, we were
when
packing
we left.
up.
Yeah.
I remember we were going through the loading docks.
Yeah.
We were going through the
Oh,
loading
yeah.
docks while they're like bringing in all the new clean towels and shit.
Yeah.
And we're like half asleep at 7 a.m, piling all this gear into the back of the
Yeah.
truck. And I'm
It
like,
was crazy.
we've been up for 24 hours and now I have to drive all this gear back
Yep.
to LA.
We had to drive home from LA,
Yep.
which is an hour, plus the work traffic made about an hour and 20 minutes, hour and a half. Then turn around and drive back to LA to drop the shit off.
Definitely my longest work day.
It
That
was
a pretty
crazy.
good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not to mention then you had class in the morning too, right after. Didn't you? We had class. And
We
I
had
think I
class.
was your DA in the class.
Oh, that's right.
That later that day, and
Yep.
we went there, and I was just like, "This is insane, dude." That we were literally.
This is
I haven't
insane.
slept. I still haven't slept. Like.
The crazy thing was, we both looked at each other at one point, and even our professor, who was the department chair at the time, looked at us and was like, "You guys realize you just spent the entire night with Jamie Foxx and all of his friends, and now you're back in college sitting in class?" And it was like, well,
That's
welcome,
how it goes.
welcome to LA, I
Wish
guess.
I got paid more for it.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, $100.
But, hey, those are the jobs we take because you got to pay the bills. Speaking of bills,
Yeah.
I actually, just fun little insert for you guys. I don't know if I've told you yet because I was ranting about this to everybody in my family the other day. Yesterday, I got a notification on my bank account. The notification that everybody dreads, and here on Ambitiously Broke, I have become all too accustomed to getting that great, your account is below $25.
Dude, don't you love that call though?
I hate it.
When you look and it's overdrafted
Oh
and
my
it's not
God.
even 25 anymore, it's negative
When it's
25.
negative 0.
Red.
Right. You're like, wait, that's not a credit card.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So I got the good notification that my card was below $25. So I start looking on there, and I noticed that I have 4 Netflix charges pending for the month of November. And so I look at it, and I'm like, wait a minute. Is it charging me per TV in my house? Because I have it logged into like
That's how they did it.
5
What if that's how
TVs?
Netflix did it
Dude,
regularly?
yeah.
horrible.
So I start looking. I'm
We charge $100 a
panicking.
month.
Yeah, I'm panicking because, I don't have much income at this point right now. I'm in real estate. It takes a little while to get the ball rolling. So I start looking at it, and I'm reading on Netflix's thing, like, how does it work? Is it by TV now? Did they switch and not tell me? Like, I'm thinking of everything. Granted, I worked for Netflix on a feature film, so I know exactly how it works. I was just freaking out.
Right.
So I look. Finally, I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm calling. I call Netflix. I get a call center in the Philippines, which I was a little scared of. No knock against the Philippines, but I was like, okay.
You're not too confident.
You're like,
I
we're
don't
not going
wanna
to
call
get
the
too much
800
done
number.
now.
Yeah, I don't want to be giving my bank information to the Philippines right now when I already don't have any money. So then I really can't bail myself
Well,
out.
then they're not going to, they won't have anything
You
to
got
take.
nothing to lose, though.
Yeah. So I sent it, and I called them, and they were very helpful. She was very nice. She told me there were 4 active Netflix accounts under my credit card. So
serious?
4?
4. So I started looking. I'm like, okay, well, I have 4 TVs. Like, maybe, hey,
Is this
4
how it works
things.
now?
Is this how it works? So she goes, no, is your email address BACD5 dash squiggly line? Like, it was a weird, tilde E. So long story short, it came out that it was 4. Well, I have 1 account and then 3 other accounts in Spain. Spain. Now, I've never been to Spain. So I was like, this is a little weird. And she started asking me, have you ever been to Spain? I was like, no.
I think I know who it is.
Who?
It's the Spain girl.
I was just
from our
say.
first Croatian trip. Dude, she stole your card 2 years ago.
Okay,
And
so
he's been getting charged for
he's
2
getting
years.
charged for 2 years.
That's the moral of the story.
2
Is that you
years.
haven't noticed.
there was a time when Sam and I traveled to Croatia, and we did some hostel hopping, however you want to pronounce it, in Italy.
I'm not even getting into that.
And we were in Rome, and I met a very nice person. She was from Spain. She was actually a travel advisor, or a travel agent, quote unquote. And she was very nice. We had a few drinks, and that was the night. Anyway, we'll continue to move on from that one.
A couple years later,
Couple
Netflix
years
is
later,
charging you.
Spain now has my credit card number, and it has 3 Netflix accounts, all streaming in 4K, by the way. So they're
Excellent.
smart.
Of course.
They charge more for that?
They know
Is
how
that
to
a
do
thing?
it.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it's
I didn't know
$8.49 for regular. It's $15.99 for the upgraded 4K streaming.
Plus,
So-
sometimes you got to add multiple screens. So then
Yeah,
that's even
exactly.
more.
So I start looking back, and I'm like, wow, I've been getting quadruple charged for Netflix since July of this year and did not know it. Now, the thing that got me was, this is the weirder part. I had another credit card number up until about 3 weeks ago because they said my debit card had been in a fraudulent scam somewhere and just sent me a new one.
So they just swapped it right out.
They just swapped it, didn't even tell
And
me.
they did the change for you probably on Netflix or what? Like just
No. So I got my new debit card. I activated it. Same scam.
What the heck?
So what she told me at Bank of America is absolutely fantastic for this, it seems. Because I've had it about 5 times now. Not with Netflix, other things, which I can tell you guys in a second. But basically, she said when you're on an auto payment, if you get a new card, like Visa or MasterCard or whatever, will automatically generate that into your auto payment and just, oh yeah, you're auto paid for Netflix. Here's the credit card number, and just send it out.
Interesting.
So since I got a new card, they saw it was an auto payment. It just went.
Cool feature. Definitely
Great
cool feature because
So
I hate.
I just had to re-update all mine because I got a new card.
It's
and it
the
was really
worst.
annoying. Yeah.
Great
And-
feature, but if you're in a scam, it
yeah,
sucks.
definitely screws you.
So now I've had this new debit card for literally 3 weeks, and now I'm getting another new one that I'll have to switch all my shit over again.
Of course.
And I checked the expiration date because she sent me a digital version of the card so that I could put it in my Apple Wallet. It's only valid until December of this year.
So
What?
like in a month?
Yeah.
Why?
So she's sending me a brand new debit card.
And then you got to get
debit
another
card number
one.
3 for the year, and it's only valid for another 30 days. Well, 60 days, I
That's
guess.
so frustrating.
And then I have to get another one. So it'll be 5 debit cards because of this Netflix
Come on.
scam.
Why can't they all be linked to different bank accounts
Right.
with thousands of dollars in it?
It's ridiculous. Anyway, moral of the story is I had $25 in my bank account. I checked my funds now. I have $200 in my bank account because of the refunds from all the disputes for Netflix.
Moral of the story is check your bank account.
Yes.
See if you have 5
Always.
Netflix charges.
I don't know how it even happened. I mean, I watch Netflix a lot, and I've never gotten a notification. Because you know how, like, if there's more than a couple on your account at the same time, it says, oh,
Yeah.
are you watching on,
Right.
continue watching on this TV? And you can
Right.
click no, and then screw whoever's
Honestly,
watching.
like the
I've
banks,
never gotten that.
the banks should be able to track, like, oh wow, look at that. This person has 5 Netflix accounts.
Yeah.
That's probably not normal.
It would be fantastic
Yeah,
if they
it'd be
did
great
that.
if they could do that.
But they don't, and it really frustrated the hell out of me the
Yeah.
other day. I mean, I was losing my mind.
Anyway,
Anyway,
it's hilarious.
that's just the that's how it goes on Ambitiously Broke. That's life, and you know we strive to better ourselves, but sometimes you get a little kick in the pants, and you gotta deal with it.
Absolutely. So
And
Scott,
that was one.
you've worked on a lot of cool freelance projects. Do you have anything that you want to share? Any cool projects you want to share that you've worked on?
Sam's coming out with the real questions.
That's a great question, dude. I mean, something I worked on like continuously for like the last 2 years almost was a bunch of stop motion projects I actually did.
Oh, that's
that
super.
I'm actually pretty proud of because I wasn't doing stop motion at all, and I was working with this company called Tilt out in Simi Valley, and they wanted to do these stop motion products or videos for their products. And I basically told them like, yeah, I think I can do it, and pretty much handled the whole thing from the shooting to the editing to the visual effects to even like making music for it, and like did 30 of them.
Whoa.
Yeah, like 30.
Were they like 2-minute videos?
One,
or they...
like 1
They
minute.
were all just pictures of Scott.
It's me just with my hand.
bunch of hand motions.
No, I've actually seen them though, and they're really cool. I usually hate stop motion stuff because it drives me crazy.
Just that you think about like it hurts
Yeah.
your brain to watch it because you're like, oh, I feel bad for the person who had to make this.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
it's like, have you ever seen the what was it, Lego movies? When they first started, they were stop motion because it was
Yep.
actual Legos that they would move and do the whole thing. And now they're digital. They're more digital. I think there's still some stop motion, but it used to give me a headache because it was like choppy. Mm-hmm. And as film people, you watch it and you're
Totally.
like, wow,
You're
that's
like,
really
oh,
not
interesting.
fluid.
Bothers me. Yeah.
It gives me a headache.
It's like a weird look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Scott's are really good actually, and I don't know. I still don't have the patience.
I mean,
to
yeah,
do
well,
that.
like the ones that I was doing are pretty much like on a white background, and like I ended up doing a lot of like the hand drawn animation stuff that you can do in After Effects, where like
Interesting.
it's like the arrows and stuff kind of exploding and making the stuff look more fluid,
Kind
and
of bring it
animated.
more like realistic.
Bring it more to life. Yeah. So I mean, that was a pretty cool project that I've kind of just continuously done for a year and a half or so. It's
That's
kinda slowed
awesome.
down
That's
recently,
super
but yeah.
cool.
No.
What's kind of the premise of the videos? Are they
Kind
like-
of just to show. I mean, originally a lot of them were to kind of make the products do kind of like non-product things. So like they each had like a vibe to them, like they were wireless chargers or something. So to make them kind of do something quirky.
Gotcha.
And, like,
Super cool
spin
idea
around.
promotionally.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think actually a bunch of them were like the products had like QR codes at Target.
Uh-huh.
And then you scan them at Target and they went straight to like the YouTube video. online.
What?
Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
That's
That's
cool.
sick.
Yeah.
Actually, I know a lot of people are going towards like the smart chips now and stuff like that on products.
Yeah, where you can
we'll talk about
scanning
that.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Totally.
We'll talk about it in a little bit. But I know Scott, in After Effects, you're really like proficient. You
Try to
work
be.
really hard on it. We had a class in college with a very great professor. His name was Mikey Guccione, and he was a After Effects artist.
Yeah,
yeah.
artist. I don't know, just kind of a visual effects guy in general.
Yeah, he did like The Revenant. He did some really
Wow.
big movies. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was phenomenal. Very, very smart guy. I don't know how in the hell the college got him to teach there.
After Effects is a hard one for sure.
I sat in that class for like, I don't know how long a semester is anymore, but
3 months, 4 months.
yeah, 4 months, and had no idea what the hell I was doing. I mean, I
Wasn't that
finished the
bad,
class
dude.
where
It was-
like,
there were definitely people in the class who had less.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I got through the class and
Less
like, you know,
experience.
I was able to do it,
Right.
but I mean, Scott, we'd have to show our projects every week. Like our homework, you'd show it in front of everybody. And it was like, oh, animate this person's face or make a South Park character. And mine were just as simple could be because I couldn't figure it
Yeah,
out.
you did like the quick,
Plus,
easy one.
we
But
were
yeah, I mean,
working,
you got
so
something figured out.
I mean,
Yeah,
we were
yeah.
always on project. So it was
Right.
also like I really didn't have that much time to sit for 5 hours and do an After Effects project. But Scott, even working on the projects with us, would come out with these like, I mean, they definitely shit on everybody in the class, and it was really depressing. But
Well, you know, it felt good, you know. But,
It always feels good to have the best in class.
but I mean, that's like cool because I mean that's a big important part. Like when you're in college, like it's great to like have the nicest project, but like it's also good to be like like you said, out working and like getting experience. And like if you don't like love doing After Effects, then like maybe you shouldn't force yourself to be like an After Effects person or an editor.
But
it's
the
just
thing
totally
is,
fine, yeah.
and the reason I say that you were super talented in it is it's something that you didn't know prior.
Mm-hmm.
You were still working. You were working with us on projects, and you were doing all this stuff, but you still set the time aside to learn it and do it. And now that's a skill that you have, and you were able to do these stop motion
Yeah.
things or, you know, any other project when they say, hey, we need a VFX artist, and you're like, great, I can totally do that. As where I say, yeah, let me call Scott.
That's great. Well, that was a big thing. Like leaving college too is like being the person that I knew that my friends would call when they needed
Exactly.
After
Which is
Effects
huge.
stuff. Yeah, because I mean it definitely got me work across the board in different things. Like if I'm the guy, like that's what I tell my students too, and I teach is like try to be that person that your friends are gonna call when you graduate college because they can't do something. Be
Right.
the person that you can do it.
Now, can you explain for the people, because we really didn't explain it very well, what you do? You say you teach. I know what you do, but for the listeners and people like that, explain kind of how you've transitioned from student to professor to freelancer, and if you can maybe touch on some other jobs that you wanted to explore or that you recently have gotten?
Well, I mean, as you mentioned, I was like a DA when I was at school, which was like a departmental assistant. So kind of like helping run classes, run the department a lot of times. And then after I graduated, this summer after I graduated, the chair, Dan, who was running the department at the time, he approached me and said they had an opening to teach an intro to multimedia class. So I basically started teaching the semester after I graduated from college and teaching like introduction to multimedia, which was like Photoshop, Illustrator. I teach After Effects a little bit, Premiere. And then that was like really nice 3 months after I graduated from college, having that kind of steady income, even though it was still just like a part-time professor.
Yeah, but it's still
gig.
like at least something that you have coming in,
Yeah,
which is
I
always
can know,
nice
like,
to know that
Because
there's
a lot
at
of
least
us
one
graduate
check.
college and it's like you got that 6-month gap, maybe even a year or so.
Absolutely.
That you're working, you know, you got to go back to being a waiter or doing something that you don't want to do or doesn't relate to your degree. But you spun it into like, hey, I'm going to go back to the place I just left and make some serious money.
I don't know about serious,
but
yeah,
you know what I
it
mean?
was money.
Consistent money.
But
doing
yeah,
the thing
that was
you do.
something that was really lucky because like it honestly doesn't take that much time out of my day to go teach, and like it's a consistent like in the background kind of income that I have that allows me to spend the rest of my day when I'm not teaching, doing freelance stuff, learning, continuing to do fun stuff, traveling, doing whatever
And you
I want.
travel
pretty
a
much.
lot. For people that don't know, I don't even know if Sam knows. Scott and his girlfriend run a blog/vlog called Indigo Child, if I'm correct.
Indigo Child blog, yeah.
Which if you haven't checked it out and you listen to our podcast or watch us on our live streams, please check out. It's phenomenal. I know I get a lot of like camping tips, not tips, but like camping advice and places to go from where they travel. And I contact Scott all the time, like, hey, my girlfriend and I want to go to Yosemite. I know you just did a video there. Like, where did you guys stay? So they do phenomenal stuff. And they just got a really cool opportunity taking a van around.
Yeah.
That was awesome. And I'm thoroughly jealous of that.
Yeah, no, that was I mean, because that blog thing is kind of almost like we do it for fun nowadays. Because I mean, the blog in the end really has only like 36 subscribers, I think, to it.
But who cares?
But it's like something we do for fun. When we travel, we make videos, take photos, and then like Jacob just said, one of my freelance clients, he customizes the interior of Sprinter vans and basically gave us a van for a week to go drive up the coast.
What? That's
So
awesome.
And
sick.
they create content, and they're gonna put it the photos and the video on like the Mercedes-Benz website for the
No
for the
way.
van. Yeah, so it's
That's
actually
so
the pictures
cool.
are actually up there on the Mercedes Thousand Oaks website right now.
I texted Scott when I saw the pictures and I was like, dude, these look like Apple stock photos.
That's
because it
awesome.
was like, you know, the stock photo that everyone uses of like the hands and it's like a wooden table.
Yeah.
It's like girl
Everyone
holding
uses-
cup. In
Yeah,
hand, like
everyone
Right.
uses the same stock photo. He literally took one that was identical, but it was way cooler because it was in nature. It was in this van, and I texted him like, "Wow, man, yeah, you're using Apple stock photos and just
Nice.
selling them to your
what
clients."
if I was?
He was like, "Yeah, great idea."
I just sold
Didn't
my
even take a
clients.
picture on the trip. Just
We actually just sat in the
Just-
sat in the driveway the whole
Yeah,
time.
He didn't even leave his house.
So
it's
speaking of
pretty cool.
cameras, I thought a cool segment we could do. We're all Scott's kind of one of our first film people that we've had on the show.
Yeah, and someone that we've
What's
actually
everyone's
worked with.
gear that we use? So, you know, I know Scott has quite a few cameras. Jacob shoots with a few, and I've got a few different. I know we all shoot with different stuff.
Can we
So
just say Sam has an advantage here? His dad's also a camera operator.
Yeah.
So he's got cameras like no tomorrow.
my dad buys cameras all the time, but most of them are film.
Sam's
He
the only
loves-
person I
he's
know that's ever bought a
photographer.
$20 camera body off Amazon and somehow took a better picture than I did.
$20.
I think I bought a. I think
I think it was
I
like
bought a
$60.
$50. Yeah, it was like $50
Shoot or something.
D3200 or
Yeah.
something. That was
Too
my
funny.
that was my travel camera because I dropped it down a hill
All right.
in Peru
So
and then
Scott,
climbed
footage
down the
probably
hill
look
and
cool.
got it.
we'll go this way. Scott, you start. Tell
Well,
yours.
I mean, for the most part, for the last couple of years, I've been shooting with a GH4 Panasonic, and I just like that it can shoot 4K. And then
The GH4s are really good. I've
Yeah.
shot with them a few times. They do a solid. They have a solid quality, very consistent, very lightweight. I do really love that camera.
and especially like when I got it, I think it was like $1,600 when I got it, maybe. And like, especially now, like they have the GH5 is out now, but the GH4 is still like a solid option.
Oh,
And it's probably
absolutely.
under $1,000 you could get.
I mean, I think I've shot with both the GH4 and the GH5 side by side, and it is like it's pretty
good.
pretty similar comparison.
And then I also have a Canon 5D Mark II. which is an older camera too that I got off Craigslist originally for like $700, I think.
Nice.
And like that's just like my favorite camera I think I've ever used because the build of it, it's just like
I've held that body. It's solid.
And like the pictures, I only use it for photos, and the photos are just because they're like 21 megapixels or something, but they're good. They're like professional quality. It's good. It's better than the GH4 photos.
Yeah, the 5D is a super nice camera. It does do a very solid photo. And I mean, as anyone in the film industry knows, the 5D was a huge, like, that was the big push
it's like a monumental
into
camera. Yeah.
Big time.
Into like film and video combination. That was like the pinnacle of switching into that market.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have drones still?
I have a Mavic Pro, the first one. I don't use it that much anymore, but it was
still
cool.
have it in your back pocket, though.
It was still cool. Yeah, I'm kind of over the hype of it, to be honest. Like
Yeah, totally.
The 4K footage just doesn't really do it for me. Like, just doesn't have like I can't color correct it. Or
It's still kind of
really.
like a GoPro feed.
Yeah, it's not the best 4K.
It's cool. It's more of like a fun thing at this point. I feel
exactly.
Yeah.
I definitely fell out of buying drones for a while. And the new one, the Mavic Pro, the Mavic Mini, like it
I
doesn't
just
really
heard
have
about
any
this.
quality, but the quality that it produces is good enough for Instagram and stuff. And I mean,
Yeah.
at a $400 price point versus a $1,500 price point for the Mavic Pro,
It's a no-brainer.
I think it's definitely something I might hop into.
So now, end all be all, one camera, no, price doesn't matter. What are you buying?
The one I've been looking at is just the Canon 1DX Mark II, and I've been looking at that one for a while.
Oh,
and I just
yeah.
can't really afford it.
But I'm saying
that's the
dream
camera,
camera. Like,
honestly, like right now, I haven't seen too many cameras because like I'd love to have a Red or something like that, or even Ari, or I don't know, whatever that shoots like
Yeah,
that.
so
But I was just telling Sam about
dream
it
camera though.
that like because a camera that can shoot at least
Anything.
20 megapixels and shoot 4K 60 frames per second, that looks good, looks amazing, like that.
That's what you're
It's
going
all
with.
in one camera. So
That
that's
1DX
it.
crushes
It's
it,
the
too.
1DX, it's unbelievable.
They're insane. That was the one thing I wish I would have gotten when one of our friends was selling one,
Yeah.
and I wish I would have bought it at the time, but I didn't.
And Canon, I mean,
yeah.
Canon lenses are great, and that mount fits tons of amazing, beautiful lenses with beautiful glass. It's super popular all throughout the film world, so
100%.
it's definitely a great
now,
camera.
what do you think you have invested into camera equipment?
Well,
Ballpark it, just general.
ballpark in total
Yeah.
throughout the years, it's probably only somewhere around like $4,000.
It's
maybe.
pretty.
Yeah,
You can definitely
really,
get
that's
quite a
good.
kit
Yeah.
for a
That's
pretty
solid.
affordable
I mean,
set.
I think honestly the most expensive thing I have is I have the what's the 16 to 70 zoom lens f2.8 or something like that. It's like
Okay, yeah, those are
$1,600.
expensive.
beautiful lens.
Yeah, it's real nice, but I mean that was like the biggest chunk purchase I made. That was like
That thing's a
jeez.
workhorse.
Is that your favorite? What's your favorite lens?
That is without a doubt my favorite
Yeah.
lens. It's unbelievable.
having
how sharp
such
it
a
is.
range from going to the super wide to
The
portrait
70, yeah.
at a
Yep.
2.8 is just
Ridiculous.
perfect.
Unbelievable how sharp it is.
Never need another
It's
lens.
scary. It's actually scary tack sharp. Like, you better make sure that your face
Well,
looks
it's
good.
crazy because I'll take pictures with my other lenses and I'll be like, "This looks like garbage."
Yep.
Like, and then I'll be like, "I'm never using any other lens besides this one."
Yeah,
can
but
see
then
the
you have
difference.
to, and it's like,
And you
yeah.
have to, yeah. And then no one really cares
All
anymore.
right, so you're a solid 4,000 invested into camera stuff, I'd say.
Good amount.
Okay, but you got a bunch of stuff for that $4,000, so you're a pretty wise
Yeah.
investor in
Write
camera
stuff
stuff.
off,
Yeah.
What about Sam?
I mainly do photo. I do video, but most of my camera gear is mainly focused on photo. So I shoot with the Nikon D610. It does 24 megapixels, and me and my dad share a lot of the gear. So with he's a pretty good kit that he's built up over the years. Favorite lens by far is his 20-year-old Nikon 80-200 2.8. Kicks ass. By far the best lens I've ever used in my life. It's got the
Jealous.
sharpest. It's got the sharpest shot. It's got a little aged like.
It's got a look to it.
It's
got
got
a
an aged
patina
look
to
to
it,
it.
yeah.
It's. I would like if I could keep that lens forever. That's all I would shoot because
I love it.
yes, it's like the 80 millimeter is like pretty tight, so you definitely kind of have some missing room in that wider range. But if you're shooting like people, if you're shooting portraits or landscape, I mean, it's like being able to get to the 200 millimeter and still shoot kind of a portrait level is by far the best. And the low light at the 2.8 is amazing.
Right.
Um,
I know you have a pile of GoPros.
Oh yeah, I
A
think
literal pile.
I went through
Literally.
the other, literally.
Literally.
I think I have 15 now.
Yeah.
Of, like,
They're all
of
Hero
them?
3s and 4s
I
though.
was gonna say.
Yeah.
Like, you have a progression, like
I have a couple Hero
Hero
2s.
generations.
I haven't bought anything after the Hero 4 though. I'm thinking about getting the Max now, mainly because I want to be able to shoot the VR.
Yeah, those videos have been crazy. That
Yeah.
I've been seeing.
The
Like
cool
the
thing,
360 things, or was that?
yeah,
that
but
what
their
it was?
new one, the Hero 8 Max, allows you to do like normal footage, because they essentially like sandwiched two Hero 8s, standard Hero 8s into each other, so you can shoot both like a standard GoPro, and then you also have the option of shooting the 360.
See, but the thing that got me with GoPro was they went from like Hero 4 to Hero 8 in like a year and a half.
They like
They
released
did jump.
Literally.
It does feel like they jumped quite
Because
a bit.
I bought
yeah.
a Hero 5 Black and was like, this thing's great, love it, badass. All of a sudden, it was like, oh yeah, Hero 7's coming out next month. I was like, wait, I
You're
just
like, where'd
bought
that come
this
from?
thing.
Yeah, they release a new one every year. That's
It
their
was
thing.
crazy.
Um,
That was like a fast progression of 4 different cameras that
It's
came
like
out.
if you don't pay attention to, you're like, oh, what did I miss? Like,
Right.
I
Yeah.
feel like
Oh,
I didn't
absolutely,
pay attention to GoPro for a year, and I don't even know what a GoPro looks like now. It looks
No, yeah.
completely different.
It's totally
They're crazy.
Yeah.
So one of the big changes that they've made that I do like is instead of putting your camera in a housing, it's just one thing.
Yeah, it's
That is
waterproof
really nice.
in total already.
You still have the removable batteries, which is super nice. But the only thing with the Hero 8 that I've heard issues with are they have the mount on the bottom folds up, which is cool because you can switch back and forth, but it's super fragile
Oh, really?
because it's just like the mount is mounted in with 4 screws into the bottom of the GoPro, so it's like any hard hit is just
Oh.
gonna rip those
So
screws
it's
out
no
of them.
longer
It's like the whole
that.
point of the GoPro.
Yeah,
though.
exactly.
It's no longer that like
The thing
pivot
with the
hook
pin
mount.
in it.
Yeah.
It is. It's still that same style, but the two, like the two little prongs that they have that you
Right.
drove. So they fold up into the camera like this now and like this,
no.
and then you drive the pin.
Because
through.
that was the thing; those were thick and they were hard. So,
So
you could
yeah,
throw
they're
those
not as
things-
hardy
legit,
anymore.
Yeah. I mean, you used to throw those things all over the place. They were fine.
But GoPro was really my first. That was like what started this all for me. That was what started drones for me. That was what.
Yeah.
That's how I got into this. Was
I mean,
GoPro.
when
I
we-
interviewed with them for a job.
I remember that. You
Yeah.
had like 4 interviews with them.
Yeah, I
Really?
flew up there to interview at their headquarters and stuff, and they are a really good company. They've gone through a lot of hard stuff just from market changes.
I remember
and-
when you were going through those interviews, I was sitting at the front desk at Dronefly, and Sam came back. He's like, "Oh yeah, I got this interview at GoPro," and I was like, "No, you didn't."
Liar.
Like, dude, you're 17 years old.
You're like,
Like, you're
"Shut
not working
up."
at GoPro. And he's like, "Yeah, dude, they called me. They want to interview, blah blah blah." So we started talking. It like kind of fell through. Like didn't necessarily all pan out. And I was like, Sam, you realize you were gonna be like the only 17-year-old kid I've ever met making like $100,000
Yeah,
a year,
moving up to San
living
Francisco,
in
making
living in like
$100,000 a
Silicon
year.
Valley. I was like, come on, man.
I wanted it so
College
bad,
is
but really it
obsolete.
like wasn't the right choice. But man, it would have been crazy. Even if
That'd
I had
been
done
sick,
it and
dude.
like left for a year later or something.
It would have been crazy.
But I'm super
Absolutely
glad to
crazy.
even have the opportunity to have interviewed with them because
Hell
they
yeah.
are a great.
Just that they know your name is
right.
crazy.
They are a great
Well, they're
company.
Considering you're doing the right thing at least. I mean, like
Exactly.
you're
Yeah.
progressing towards
kind
the
of
right
following
kind
the
of
right
stuff.
path
Yeah.
and like going in the right area.
Exactly.
But I mean, yeah, that's a company that I've like worked around forever since
Well,
the
yeah,
beginning
we've
of time, and
always
it's like
had 'em.
shot their VR stuff. I edited some VR stuff for Deadliest Catch. It's like they do make some incredible stuff. But that's about it. Yeah.
GoPro is one of the, I would say, one of the companies that gets a lot of people started in cameras.
Yeah.
I absolutely
Especially
agree.
nowadays, because the accessibility to them is so wide. Like you can get them pretty much anywhere. They're really cheap. Not relatively cheap for camera equipment, and they're easy to use. So I think that really starts a big passion for people. Like
Totally.
they'll go out and surf and be like, "Wow, I got this cool shot. I wonder if I can make a career out of this."
And
You
a
know
big
what I mean?
progression I've seen is like GoPro to either drone.
Yep.
People go GoPro to drone or GoPro to DSLR.
Yeah.
And that's like
100%.
Well, it's a big thing too, because like before that, you had point and shoot cameras that you could just whatever was easy, but
Yeah.
they looked like trash, like they were just
Right.
terrible.
Yeah, the
GoPro
action
was like that
cameras.
perfect time where it was like, it was like 1080, 60 frames per second slow mo, something like, and it was actually good quality.
and that was what
footage.
was huge is their
Yeah.
slow-mo and HD too.
Mhm.
Yep.
And their issue with them was like they got what we're getting out of the iPhone now before any of that existed.
100%.
And that was like what their big thing, and that's unfortunately been one of the issues with why they've like gone down, is just because the phone
People use
cameras have
iPhones.
gotten so good.
Well, that, and then also they kind of had that drone issue,
Right.
Which
But
we
that
dealt
was,
a
I mean,
lot
that
with.
was like a big of their. I feel like that was kind of their big last push. That was their like
Yeah.
last hope was
of
to push
anything
into
crazy.
That. Right.
Yeah,
But DJI is just
DJI's taking over.
they're just taking over.
they,
They're gonna run
yeah,
the world
they
at
own
some
the
point.
world. Yeah.
Hopefully Apple buys them and shuts them down. That's my hope.
And just starts breaking their drones.
Yeah, and just smashes them. I'm gonna go to Apple. I'm gonna get a job at Apple, buy DJI, and be like, all right, we're gonna burn it all.
Well, that was crazy. I think when I first met you guys, you were both working at Dronefly.
Yep.
I think,
Yep.
right?
Yep,
And I
yep.
remember just, I think that first time you were talking about another shoot with Jamie Foxx or something at his house, maybe, I don't know. But we, the first time came to Dronefly and Sam's in the back, like building 3 drones. And I was like, I've never even like really seen a drone at that point, like flown one.
I'm like 17, like
Yeah. Sam's
drones
like
ripped
taking
apart
apart
by
the
me.
motors and stuff like that. And he's like, oh yeah, we're just going to go fly this drone now. And I'm like, dude, you just built this drone right now.
Yep.
It was crazy.
Dude,
I
drones are crazy. They're cool. I'm a huge fan of them, honestly. I have a shoot. I have to go test in like an hour because we're doing a Jeep shoot tomorrow. But they're
Solid
super
invite.
interesting.
It's cool.
Solid invite, right,
Yeah.
Scott? Yeah. What are you doing tomorrow, Scott? You want
I'm
to do
actually
anything?
editing tomorrow. Can't
Oh,
wait.
sick.
Sorry.
Well, great. And I'll be fun employed tomorrow.
Sorry, man.
No, but I think in all reality, I think drones. I don't know. Drones were kind of like the start of everything for us, at least Sam
For
and
me,
I.
for
Like,
sure.
well,
Absolutely.
for our friendship too. Like,
Yeah.
that's how we met and everything like that. Like, I'm very grateful to drones. I'll always love them, and they're a lot of fun. I think it's kind of become one of those things where we did so much of it at such a young age, and when they first started, that we kind of like burned ourselves out on them.
yeah.
Because for me now, like when people call me to do drone stuff, I'm like, I'll do it.
That's how I
but
feel.
it's no longer like, yes, I'm gonna fly a drone through this
drone
house,
stuff.
and I'm gonna try to flip out the back
Well, it was
window.
Like, and then I used to call you and be like, oh, hey, can you come film this apartment complex for a real estate video?
Like,
And I'd
sick,
be like,
sure.
Yeah. I
And I
remember
was
me and
stoked.
me and Jacob went and filmed a real estate video for Scott
Yeah.
one day
Yep.
just up the street. That was a good one.
Yeah.
That was a crazy house.
Yeah. I remember one of the first, I think it was either the first or the second job that I ever called Scott to do was a Jamie Foxx video again. Was not the one in the hotel room. So if that was the first, this must have been the second. It was the one at his house.
I think I
and-
filmed behind the scenes video or something.
Yeah,
like that.
you were doing
Oh,
BTS,
right,
and I was
yeah.
supposed to do it, but I
oh
was
wait,
going.
was this ET?
No,
No, that was a different.
That
that
was
was
different
the
one,
third
okay.
one.
That was a good one.
This
That was a
was
good
In Love by Now,
23. He pushed
Yes.
the piano off the
the
hill.
one with
Yes,
George Lopez.
That's right. Where I drove the piano in my truck all the way to
Yes,
the top of the
it
Yeah,
hill.
I was there. I was
George
there.
Lopez, Nicole Scherzinger. I
Yep.
think Dion Taylor directed it. I want to say.
I think so. Yeah, I
Um,
think so.
Which he has a phenomenal new movie out, Black and Blue. Not plugging that at all, but I've
it.
heard it's fantastic. But it was a really big production, and I remember I think my grandparents, my grandpa was sick at the time, so I was out of town,
Uh-huh.
and I called.
Called me.
Yeah, and
Scott's
you
like,
had
"Great."
called me and were like, hey, we have this video with Jamie tomorrow. You're coming. I was like, dude, I'm out of town. So I called Scott, and I was like, Scott, there's this great video. It's going to be super chill. It's with Jamie Foxx, a bunch of people. Don't worry, it'll be sick. And he's like, all right, cool. I'm in. He shows up, and then he calls me. He's like, so I'm at the store buying shorts right now because I'm running up a mountain with camera gear.
Okay, so I mean, because it's like the first time I hadn't met Taylor.
It's
Had
so
I'm
funny.
going to Jamie Foxx's house. I'm like, oh, okay, I should probably dress like decently. I'm gonna wear jeans
Yeah.
and
Right.
like a decent,
Of course, like,
collar
you gotta
button
look
down, like,
presentable.
anything. And then I get there, and Taylor was like, dude, you should probably go change because
It was like 80 degrees
He
or
was like,
something.
he was like 90 degrees, and he was like, we're gonna be up on a mountain for the entire day. It's
With
gonna
a
be
piano.
dusty,
Yeah.
and you're gonna be holding a Movi or like a Ronin.
Oh my
with a
gosh.
DV camera the entire time. And I went to Sports Chalet and got shorts.
That's
and a
so
t-shirt.
funny. I forgot about that.
It's so funny. He called me. He's like, what in the hell did you get me into? And I was like, why? What do they have you doing? He was like, I have ran up and down Jamie's hill in his backyard like 8 times with camera gear. I'm so tired. And I was like, my bad, man.
It
I'm
was
sorry.
alright. It wasn't the worst thing. It was just like, it was funny because it
Yeah.
was just.
That's
No,
honestly
it
a
was
lot
just
of the shoots.
hysterical.
I feel like a
Yeah.
lot of the shoots we've done, none of them have been. I've never done a shoot that's been bad. That I was like, wow, that was miserable, and I hate it. A lot of them have
No.
been like, that was like kind of ridiculous, kind of annoying, but kind of funny, ridiculous.
They're all the shoots that, like, at the time, you're like, wow, this sucks. Because
Right.
you're tired, you're exhausted, it's cold, it's hot, you're dusty, you're dirty, you're
But you
in
look
these
back
weird
and you're like,
situations.
but we had a good
It
time.
could be a lot worse. You know,
Yeah.
you could be doing.
And then you sit like this and you're like, wow, that was actually hysterical.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, what a good time. I think on the video that we all did together, the like a drum music video, we had one of the girls was like rolling a blunt on this couch while the song's playing, and I'm standing there holding a light above her head trying to stay out of the shot. So I'm like holding my shirt and I have this light above her, and I look in the other room. The other girl, who's the actress, is passed out on the couch. The other one's eating a piece of pizza, and here's Scott just sitting there on his phone. I'm like, dude, what are we doing?
So funny.
And Sam's with the DIT, just like watching the footage, like
Sam's making sure the cameras don't run out of battery.
I'm like, wait, and then I'm like sitting there watching the footage download, and all the computers go black, and I'm like, who did that?
Yeah.
And someone pulled the power cord.
someone just got to charge their phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man. We've had some pretty funny ones.
We've had some good times.
Real
But
quick, I never said my camera gear,
yeah,
so
I was
I'll just
gonna
let you
bring it
guys
back
know.
into that.
Oh, yeah. Full
I have about 6 GoPros, I think.
Yeah, Jacob's got quite a GoPro setup.
I have quite a few. I don't use any of them. I mean, I have them all sitting in a drawer with all their stuff.
That's where
don't
mine
use them
are.
at all. I actually got 2 news broadcasting cameras out of a dumpster one time at Kowloon.
You know, I have one of those.
And three
Somewhere
of them.
in my
I
room.
got 3 of them.
Yep.
I gave one to Sam for Christmas. They make really good bookends.
We'll post a picture of your
Paperweight.
bookends.
Yeah,
We'll put
they're
it on
great.
the website.
I have them sitting in my room. And then my main thing, I shoot on a Sony A7S Mark II. That was
Beautiful
actually
camera.
the first DSLR that I got. Because we were shooting so much that I never really had to buy a camera.
Mm-hmm.
We were shooting on other people's equipment, rented
Right.
equipment, and stuff like that. So my first big purchase, I kind of just went all in. I think I spent I want to say $5,000. Got a A7S Mark II when I think it was 6 months after they came out, so they're still relatively new.
Big hype on them.
I got a 24-70 Zeiss f4 zoom lens, which is a fantastic lens. I wish it
Beautiful
was
lens.
a little,
Yeah.
faster
Got a
than
little paint
f-stop.
on the
But
front of it.
yeah, I shoot a lot of painting videos for a company out here, and the overspray got all over my
I'm
lens.
gonna buy
so
you. I'm gonna buy
I've
you a
seen
clear
the footage,
filter.
and I'd be like, Jacob, is your camera all right? Because I'm watching this footage of just spray paint going all over the camera.
It's crazy. I mean, my camera right now, if you know any a street artist, his name's Alec Monopoly. My camera looks like an Alec Monopoly piece. It has overspray of different house colors, and my lenses
That's
are all covered in
hilarious.
paint. There's fingerprints on it. But that thing's been my workhorse. I mean, it takes really it's decent stills. It's only 12.8 megapixels, which is horrible.
But that's the thing is, it's
But
still super sharp. It
it
still
still
looks
such a nice
because it's
camera,
such
yeah.
a good sensor in there.
It's
that
crazy.
even though it's only shooting 12 megapixels, it's still a beautiful image.
Exactly. So that's kind of the thing, is it counterbalances itself.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 4K internal recording is really great too. The low light is absolutely stupid crazy.
That's what's That's what's amazing.
We did
about
a
that
test
camera.
one time when I first got it. I don't think you were there. We drove up to this parking lot in the middle of the Santa Monica Mountains, which is the only non-light polluted area
Oh,
in
that's right.
our whole city. And we cranked, I think it's 340,000 ISO, and it looked like it was perfectly sunny
So
daytime,
crazy.
and it was
I forgot
pitch
about
black,
that.
not a single light out at all.
I've seen people shoot full on pitch black videos at the 350,000 ISO, and it just looks like daytime.
Yeah,
Or
and
they're
I mean,
moonlit, and
it's
that's all they use.
super noisy, but
It's
if you're
wild.
in a pinch, it works. And
Right.
if you have a really good noise person,
It's not
then
something
it's
you
great.
want to necessarily use, but
Yeah.
the idea that you can really being able to go that high allows you to
It's
shoot
crazy.
24,000 with no noise.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what's
100%.
huge. Is any camera that you
Even,
shoot 24,000 would be unusable.
And the nice thing is, when you're shooting, say it's 5-6 p.m. here, it's getting dark. You're only at 1800 ISO.
right,
It's
doesn't
ridiculous.
matter. Yeah, exactly.
And it's perfectly fine.
My camera, for photo and stuff, my Nikon, I shoot. Once I get into 6400, it starts to get noisy, and it's.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't ever really use that much.
I'm scared to go past 1600, dude.
What do you on the 5D?
It's fine, but I just
Yeah, you don't want to. I mean, I don't push back.
Yeah.
I don't push past 3200,
Yeah.
but
I want to say 12,000 is where it starts to get noisy on my camera. It's
Well,
really
Sony has
crazy.
a different scale almost. It's weird on the Sony. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel I don't know. When I looked at your cameras, I'll be like, dude, how are you shooting at that high of ISO?
I'm I don't
Sony
know,
is
it just
crazy.
works.
All their cameras are so high.
Yeah.
For everyone that doesn't know, your 3 big things that give you your brightness of your image is your aperture, your ISO, and your
Shutter speed.
Shutter speed. Thank you. Scott.
I stayed out of that one.
That's good. You're
I
welcome.
know it, but I'm just not even gonna bother.
Talk about that in my class next week at school. So.
Nice.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, as you guys can kind of tell, we have a history of some fun projects. That's just a very surface level of what we've all done together. I know Scott has done some phenomenal work that we've all seen. And I mean, Sam and I, you guys know our stories. We work on some crazy shit.
Yeah.
I actually just got a.
Scott's been around for quite a few of them, though.
I've been around just
He
watching
has.
it, like
Yeah.
even like when you guys were in Croatia and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
was just kind of, what are these guys doing? Like,
You're like, what did they got
I haven't talked to
themselves
Jacob
into?
in like a month. He's in Croatia.
Just disappeared. I'm in another country. No, but I just got a text the other day. A friend of mine said she's going to work on a Scorsese movie in
Ooh,
Oklahoma
wow.
for a year.
Whoa.
And I was like, ooh, I don't know if I could do Oklahoma for a year.
dude,
I mean,
that's
not bad,
crazy.
dude.
It's not like it was an offer to work on the job, but
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
just, I started thinking about it, and like, I know production and stuff like that, and I just don't know if I could pull the trigger on Oklahoma for a year.
It'd be an interesting one for sure. It'd probably make a lot of money, though.
Yeah, oh God, yeah. Especially on
Get
a
paid
Smurf
LA
podcast.
rates in Oklahoma. What?
Yeah.
So change the name of the podcast because
It'd be very rich and young.
yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. It would still
Oklahoma's
be.
not bad. Dude. Oklahoma's alright. I mean,
ambitiously
I don't know about. I think they have tornadoes in Oklahoma.
Yeah, you don't want
Do
to be
they?
there for that.
Yeah.
But
See, that's my.
you just
I-
run. I mean, if
okay.
it's not your house, you really
So,
could just run
speaking
away.
of tornadoes and
basement.
crazy
Right.
stuff, tell me this. This was something I actually like legitimately had a conversation with someone I felt really stupid about the other day.
Uh-oh.
So, my girlfriend had a family friend who is from Sweden. They were
Okay.
in town. So they were like, oh, yeah, you know, Sweden's great. Come visit us, blah, 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 all this stuff. And I'm like, is there a bad time to go to Sweden? She's like, no, not really. It gets cold. I was like, cool. Well, like, we have earthquakes. What does Sweden have? She was like, nothing.
I think it's true. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places. There's like a lot of northern
So-
Europe places. They're not on the plates. They're not.
Yeah,
They don't
so-
necessarily get hit with the hurricanes. They don't get hit
To
with
them,
tornadoes.
they were like, the notion of a hurricane or a tornado or a flash flood or a monsoon or an earthquake was insane.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm sitting here like, oh yeah, it's earthquake weather
There's
today.
fires
Like,
happening,
yeah, and our
Well,
whole city's on fire.
That's what's been interesting with us, I feel like, is like the East Coast of the U.S. gets hit with, I mean, they always get hit with storms or tornadoes or like some big thunderstorm
Something
or snowstorm,
crazy.
something.
Yeah.
In California, I grew up, I mean, recently the fires have been horrible, and that's like our
Really,
big thing
really
is it's
bad.
like, oh, the wind, we got the wind coming today. All right, it's going to be, how
Yeah,
many fires can we
fires,
count
yeah.
today?
Get your disaster bag
Literally
ready.
walk out my front on Wednesday. I think it was just last Wednesday. There was the fire. Wake up to the fire in Simi Valley. They get that out, and then
Santa
I'm like,
Ana fire starts.
yeah, and then I wake up, or I like walk out my house to go to dinner, and just like outside my front yard, the whole mountain's on fire, and I'm like, all right, that's cool.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's been like the apocalypse out
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
But besides that, we don't really have anything to worry about. I mean, there's
We had
earthquakes.
earthquake every once. We had a good
But it's
one.
like-
that earthquake
we did have a
that
good
was
one.
good,
7.1.
That was wild.
Yeah.
But how often does that really happen?
I mean, to be honest, I was talking to Courtney, my girlfriend, about this, and it was I mean, I've never really lived through a hurricane, so I don't really know. But I mean, like hurricanes, you can be consistent. Like, there's going to be a hurricane every year.
Yeah.
Right.
When you're in Florida or something like that. Like here, it's like, oh, I'll take an earthquake
Once every
10,
6 years,
6
yeah.
Yeah.
whatever. And
with like 3 seconds of warning.
and then a fire, maybe, I don't know, but like I'd rather, I don't know, I like
I'll
LA.
take the chance.
I'd way rather
Yeah.
do like a fire here and there and a
the
potential
one,
earthquake.
The one thing
than a
I have
hurricane
to
every
say
3
is
weeks.
like with hurricanes and things like that is you at least get a warning. And
Right.
tornadoes,
Yeah.
like you can see them coming in. An earthquake, like, dude, you're sleeping, all of a sudden you're on the floor.
The issue nowadays though is these
That's happened to
hurricanes
me.
like
Yeah.
the hurricanes they hit every like once a month at this point. It's like, all right, well, let's all pack up and leave again.
Tornadoes scary though. Tornadoes, because I have family that lives in Kansas.
I would not want to
And
deal
I've
with a
been-
tornado.
there'll be
I've
times
been
when
in
it's
a
like
tornado.
it's like just crazy windy, and then like it just, and you're like, it's happening. Like
Yeah.
you're just
There was
lightning.
granted, I don't remember it because I was a baby, but my mom, my dad, when he was doing feature films, we were in Kansas, I think, somewhere around like Tornado Alley,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and he was doing a movie. I think it was Twister, I want to say. And yeah,
Perfect.
ironic. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But Yeah, my mom was in the elevator with myself, my brother, and our 2 Rottweilers at the time, and got stuck in a tornado.
Oh no.
You say in the elevator?
In an elevator.
Oh no. That's
Granted, I
horrifying.
don't remember it, but she tells us the story all the time, and I'm just like, whoa, good thing I
I
don't
wouldn't.
remember
Yeah,
that.
I would. That's the one.
I'd never
One
go
day.
in an elevator again.
One day, I do want to chase tornadoes, though. I think that'd be
It
fun
does
for a
seem
little
really
bit.
cool.
I don't necessarily want to live in Tornado Alley, but I would like to chase them in a like truck or something.
Right.
It is kind of. I mean, because like when I was in Kansas, there was this crazy storm that we were there, and I was taking we were taking like long exposures at night
Nice.
of the clouds and stuff, and you just seeing it form. It's like it's really cool with the lightning and everything.
Right.
But it
like,
has
take
to be
pictures
so
of.
eerie.
I
It's crazy.
love
creepy, dude.
storms. It's so bad, but I
I
love
like
any
thunderstorms,
natural
like lightning,
disaster.
thunderstorms.
It's
I
so
hate it.
interesting to me.
I have such bad anxiety as is that it's just like,
Yeah.
dude, anytime there's clouds, I'm like, lock me in my room and play Call
My
of Duty.
anxiety kind of drives it though. Lock me in my room from the clouds.
I hate it.
Well, back I mean, is Sweden one of those places where like in the winter it stays dark, or no? Is it not far enough north?
I think she said that it gets like, not that it's dark
They
all
probably
the
have
time,
like 6-hour days.
but yeah,
or something.
it's just kind of like dusk all the time.
That's kind of cool.
I could be wrong. I could sound like an idiot on here.
Because
but
I mean, I get Sweden and Norway mixed up, and like there were some Norwegian people who we went to school with, and they
they're
would talk.
right next to each other.
They would talk. Are they right next to each other?
Yeah.
One of them's probably
I
further
think.
north, but I mean, they would talk about how
I'm
in the
assuming
winter,
that's Norway. Starts with an N.
Norway
And
has
Sweden
Nor in
starts
it.
with an S. That's good logic. Norway.
I hope you're completely wrong. I hope you're absolutely wrong. And it's the opposite. dude.
I wish I had my phone. Scott's gonna have to look it up because he has
it
his
up
phone.
on your phone. We're checking this because if that works, that's serious logic.
Regardless,
Hold on,
Norway-
can we hear the logic again?
Norway has an N in it for north. Sweden has a S in it for south. That could be the dumbest thing
Oh
anyone's
my
ever
God.
said, but if it's right, then that's the easiest thing ever.
hold on.
We'll
stand
put a
by.
map of this on the website. Don't worry.
Yeah,
on the
we'll check it
episodes
out.
Page.
By the way, check our website out. It's ambitiously.broke.com.
Yep.
We have our
Super lucky
bios
getting
on
that
there.
domain name.
Yeah.
All right, so technically, yeah, Norway is north of Sweden. It's on the top here.
Interesting.
Boom, bitch. I'm good at
But
geography.
I'd say that they're pretty. you know,
I'd say they're pretty
equal.
They're next to
parallel,
each other,
though.
yeah.
But still, regardless, like there were some kids from Norway when we went to school with them, and they were like, "Yeah, in the winter it's light for like 2 days out of the
Yeah.
year, or
Yeah,
like
they
not
are
2 days, but
super
like 2
far
hours
north.
out of the day."
Wow, they're crazy. They're like in line with the top of Alaska. That's wild.
Exactly. And like we went to Banff, we went to Canada.
You
earlier
went to
this year.
where?
In Banff National Park.
You've seen pictures of it. Crazy blue lakes, crazy mountains. We've always
Banff?
wanted to go there.
Banff, BANFF.
Oh, okay. Because as far as I knew, BAMF was BAMF, and that
Like
stood
badass,
badass
No,
mofo.
it's BANF. Sorry, I just
for. Okay, because I was like, wait,
Speech
I've never
impediment.
heard of this place.
But
I've seen the photos. I'm kind of just
like
playing. I
the
know. I remember.
Now
I was
you
very
do.
jealous.
regardless, in the summer, the sun didn't go down till like it was like 11 o'clock when it was like dark
That's insane.
at night,
That's ridiculous.
and the
Even-
sun came up at 5.
Even in Oregon,
Absolutely ridiculous.
because I lived in Oregon for a while, and in the winter, the middle of this, not the winter, sorry, the middle of the summer, it got dark. I think the sun set at 9:45,
That's
which
crazy.
blew my mind.
Mhm.
Because I mean here it's like 8 o'clock. We're pretty far south down
Yeah.
in Southern California, so it's like it sets at like 8 o'clock in the summer, which is fine. But
Right.
9:45, I was like, what the frick? It's 10 o'clock
crazy.
and it's sun. There's still light out.
It's
But in the winter,
It's the opposite.
your days are 6 hours long, and then it's really miserable, and it's raining all day, and then you don't want to be there.
ridiculous.
You're like turning back to California.
And,
Anyway,
yeah, exactly.
We're coming into the 53-minute mark of our podcast here, so we've actually got a long show today.
Wow, awesome.
Anyway, we have a portion of our show called the expense report that we try to do when we remember, which basically means we go over kind of our weekly expense and what we can work on, what we can improve on, and things like that. Tips for the young people out there and stuff,
Mhm.
people our age. Basically what we're trying to do is build wealth together any way that we can through odd jobs, things like that. I have no problem starting off. This last week I spent about $50, which was mainly due to the fact that I didn't have a debit card because my bank shut it down.
That's pretty good. That helps. Maybe
which-
if you just cut them up.
Yeah, it's a blessing
don't
and a
need 'em at
curse.
all.
What are the credit cards in general?
Blessing and a
Burn 'em.
curse. I've definitely been really hungry the past couple days.
That's okay.
But in all reality, it's great for the budgeting. Basically, what I'm trying to do right now is narrow my spending on like going out to eat and things like that, really to pretty much zero. I'm hoping to cut it out in total and start
Yeah.
cooking more and meal prepping. One, because it's healthier.
I think it's a good part. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to get back in shape. But also just because I don't have much income right now, so it's a little bit easier to budget out and kick out the eating out than
Totally.
most other
That's
things.
that's an easy one.
It's
That's
hard to
like-
not spend as
right.
much on gas because I have to drive a lot for work.
Yeah.
I think.
So yeah,
I think I spent about $150 this week.
That's not
75
bad.
of that. 75 was donations to the firefighters.
there we go. Oh, I
Yep.
saw that. I saw
Waters
that.
and snacks.
Your
and
whole
stuff.
family went down there and did that.
Yeah.
That was
We all
awesome.
brought a bunch of stuff out.
I have to say, whenever there's a total side note, whenever there's anything in town, I always see Sam's mom there. Like
Yeah,
she
she's always
is
out
the
doing stuff.
community outreach pro. Because when there was, out here in Thousand Oaks, when there was the shooting at Borderline and then the fires right after, I saw your mom at the print shop for
Yep.
the shirts. She was
She's always
volunteering
out
there,
helping,
and then she was
doing what
donating
can.
stuff. Yeah,
She's an amazing person.
phenomenal,
For sure.
absolutely phenomenal. Anyway, sorry.
But yeah, no, I mean, spent some money on the donations, got waters and Gatorades and snacks. And then I don't even know what the other, who knows, random shit.
Yeah,
Some
but still, that's not
a
bad.
tool here that I don't need.
But it went to it ultimately
some
the majority.
In and out 6 times.
God, I haven't had
Can't
In and Out
blame
in a
you.
couple weeks. The majority of your spending that went to like a really good cause.
Yeah,
So
exactly,
it's necessary.
It was a good week.
Yeah, good. Scott, you don't have to if you don't want.
You can either curate hours or
Well, I would say
give your
if I
own,
was
but-
gonna say anything, maybe like in the last month, I was vaping for like a couple months.
Oh,
like
that's
for like the
tight.
last 8
That's
years, last
tight,
eight,
dude.
not 8 years, 8 months. Like
Okay.
with a Juul, and then I cut that out. I stopped.
That's
and
probably
that's
huge.
good.
I was
right?
I was looking at my budget, yeah, and it was I think I was spending like close to like $150 a month on it.
Damn.
Oh, easily. I'm
And
sure
it's
those pods
easy.
are
It's just
expensive.
crazy. Yeah, it's crazy how much it's just like that simple. You just stop. It's better for your health.
Boom.
Not
So
spending
what
money.
brought you to stop? Was it all the?
Courtney, my girlfriend, made me stop.
Oh, okay.
Plus, I just kind of felt like I shouldn't be doing it.
Did
Totally.
she?
I
Did
agree.
she give you the me or the vape?
No, she didn't. But
Oh.
I mean, it's like at a certain point, like I
I was
realized,
hoping
like
it
yeah,
would've
I'm
been a juicy
addicted
story.
to nicotine. Like
Yeah.
I need to
Well, that's
not
the
be
thing is,
addicted
like,
to nicotine. Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't realize is you do like those things. Like you
It's
get
real.
addicted to them.
It's
You
re- and-
100% get addicted
And
to nicotine.
it's not even like you're addicted in the sense like I fiend for it and like, oh my God, I need it. You're just like, oh yeah, it's there. Whatever, I'll
It's,
rip it.
It's
Yeah.
crazy, yeah, and especially it's different than like smoking a cigarette. Because a cigarette, you'll smoke a cigarette, you'll go do something for like 45 minutes, and you'll go have another cigarette.
Mhm.
With the vape, it's like you have it with you the entire day,
All
It's
times.
all
Nonstop.
times, yeah, and it's just always having nicotine like in your brain. So when you quit, it's kind of like, whoa, this is a real thing. That I've been
Interesting. So
doing
it
in my
did. So it
body.
did kind of hit when you
Definitely,
quit.
yeah. When I quit, it was like
Super
dang,
interesting.
This is weird.
One of my
'Cause
friends
those are
quit by
strong.
throwing his
Mhm.
over a fence onto the highway. So
Well,
I don't
just stopped buying
condone
it,
littering,
yeah.
but I do condone quitting vaping. So
Someone
But-
caught it, dude, and they used it.
right
So,
there you go.
But the thing is, like, those things are really strong. They say
Mhm.
one Juul pod is like 20 cigarettes
In terms of nicotine.
Yeah.
in terms of
Mhm.
nicotine. So that, if you think about it, like, look how many people are hooked on cigarettes, and then think about concentrating that nicotine portion into like a small pod
It's
that tastes
crazy.
like apples
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
or mango
No, it's
or
definitely real.
mint. Like,
Mhm.
that's a real thing. And I understand, why there's such an epidemic today about vaping and why everyone's stopping. I mean, in all reality, I heard a story the other day about a girl locally here in town that has that vaping
Yeah, she got
lung
the sick-
thing.
yeah.
She got that sickness.
It was in Simi or something.
See
I
me,
think. Yeah.
And she had like literally, I want to say like a 30% chance of living. And
That's horrible.
she's
From and they know it's from vaping. They're saying it's from
they
vaping.
know it's exactly from, because what vaping does is it's like a water vapor or an oil vapor. So your
Mhm.
lungs are just dense and like full of
This
this.
I heard the
oil,
residue.
The oil is the
yeah.
bad thing.
That's
It's,
what's the
yeah,
oil
it's
that
the
gets in
residue
there.
in your lungs. So your lungs are never really like clean at that point. Like if you smoke cigarettes, yes, it's like tar, which is horrible. But
Don't smoke either. of
yeah,
them.
don't smoke either. But I'm just saying, like, it's like a tar thing that takes a long time to build up.
Right.
This is just like that
Yes.
humid residue that just.
It's like
stays.
imagine if you spilt like any oil, like a olive oil or something. You feel it like gets stuck on your hands and stuff, and
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
gross.
imagine that inside your lungs.
Yeah, and it just sits
not
there
good.
and sits there.
It's not good. Not to mention it's expensive too. So I mean,
Yeah,
Right.
it's horrible.
yeah, it's
Just don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
all
Anyway,
around.
long story short, we're very healthy people.
Right.
Sam
most
eats In
part.
and Out 6 times a week. Scott was vaping.
Chipotle like 5 times. a
Throw
week.
some
Scott,
Mexican
okay,
food in
Scott's a
there.
vegetarian. The first time I met him, he's like, "Oh yeah, dude, I love Chipotle." I'm like,
Okay.
How do you eat
try
so
the
much
sofritas,
Chipotle?
dude? Try the sofritas at Chipotle.
I don't eat Chipotle. I'm not even
What-
gonna lie. Like
what
I
is
don't
that?
like
Sofritas is
Chipotle.
a tofu option.
Interesting.
I mean, honestly, it's not that. I'm not gonna bag on Chipotle, but I mean, I'm not a healthy vegetarian by any means. But it's like they season it. It's like tofu, and it's pretty good.
Nice.
Pretty good.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm a big veggie grill fan. I do like veggie grill.
grill's real good.
But I don't
don't
know.
eat green
Maybe
things,
I just
so.
yes. Sam's beige.
The beige
The
thing.
beige life.
Only
We
beige
talked
food.
about that on like the first episode. We were
I
like,
think
Sam
so,
was
yeah.
gonna have a blog called The Beige Life or My Beige Life. I still think it would be huge. Dude.
It's all too bland. It doesn't look good.
But
Oh my
that's
God,
the
dude.
tag.
Wait, so what do you get at In-N-Out? You just get like
So originally, I would get a number 3,
It's the
which is a
most-
hamburger with
it's-
ketchup only, extra toasted on the bun, French fries, and a Coke.
extra beige.
why do you
Now-
even go to In-N-Out, dude?
Because it's so good. Because their burgers are so good. Now I get a number 2, a spread only, which is a cheeseburger and spread.
So you upped
And
it
fries
to
and a
some
Coke.
yellow and pink in there.
Yeah, exactly. I threw some yellow and pink in.
But mixed together, those are pretty
For
much
a while,
beige.
I'll
Pretty
get grilled
much beige.
onions every once in a while. Grilled onions are pretty good.
I
get
can't-
grilled
okay.
and raw.
I
Oh,
cannot.
interesting.
That's what I do. I do
Is
the
that what
grilled,
you do?
grilled and raw? Yeah.
Interesting.
But I get a
I might
grilled
have to
cheese.
try that.
I get a grilled cheese because it doesn't have meat on it.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's pretty good with the grilled
I
and raw.
cannot-
Nice.
Cannot do the grilled onions from In-N-Out
Dude, they're
when you
so
get it to
good.
go. Literally, your car will smell like grilled
Yeah.
onions
Oh,
for
yeah.
a week
Totally.
afterwards. It's crazy.
I kind of like the smell though.
I can't do it. It makes me sick.
Sounds
I'll
like I'm
get-
there 6 days a week. So
Yeah,
I'll
exactly.
I'll get in the next day into my car at like 4 a.m. to go to work if I have or when I was shooting a lot for production, and I'd be like, "What in the hell is this smell in my car?" I'm like, "Oh, I was in and out."
One day when I'm not ambitiously broke anymore, when I'm ambitiously rich, when we're all ambitiously rich, I'm just gonna buy an In-N-Out truck and have it permanently parked
stationed at your
in
house.
front of my
No,
house.
I want to be the David Dobrik of In-N-Out. I want the black card to In-N-Out. Like, you know how
Yes.
Chipotle has that lifetime free card?
Dude, I would kill for the Chipotle card.
Dude,
I don't know about
that
kill,
would be
but-
crazy, but maybe.
God.
To be honest.
Dude, I
Depends
want it
if
so bad. I don't know. There's a lot of restaurants I would do that for. Anyway, that is pretty much our episode. We're going to wrap it up here. We're still going to have some pretty fun conversations and reminisce on some old times. But like we always say, this is Ambitiously Broke. We're trying to build some wealth with you guys as a community. We're trying to better our finances, better our lives, and, you know, really just spread positivity and help people that are in our situation or have been through things similar to us because, you know, we've all been here. We've all experienced some financial hardship or gain. And, you know, it's just it's a little hard to talk about it sometimes. So we're trying to break that barrier down and really just have a good time.
We really want to thank Scott for coming out today, and hopefully we'll have him on future episodes.
Thank you, Scott. Yeah,
Thanks.
really
Thanks for
appreciate
having
it.
Check out the website, and yeah.
Yeah, like we always say, follow us on Instagram. It's at Ambitiously Broke. My personal Instagram is at Jacob Steagall, JACOBSTEAGALL.
Mine is at S Mobley, SMOBLEY.
Smobly.
Mobley.
Mobley.
Scott, what's yours?
Oh, mine's at Scott Stevens Photo. You could also check out at Indigo Child Blog. That's the blog we were talking about earlier.
And we'll list them all up on the
Yeah,
website, so you
we'll
can
put
check
that
them
on the
out there.
website. Definitely check Scott out. Give him a like, give him a follow. He really does some amazing content. And if you guys need help with anything, shoot him a DM. I know he's always around. He might have some really big job coming up, but fingers crossed all that works out. So all the best to everybody. Let us know in the comments if you guys want anything in specific for us to talk about. If you'd like to be on the show, would like to sponsor the show, let us know. Shoot us an email, shoot us a DM. Anyway, have a good one, guys. Let's grow that wealth.